Fashion intersects with the wellness and existence of our bodies and the surrounding environment in various ways. For example, fashion helps support the physical health of our bodies, it influences how we feel about and perceive ourselves. It can also help facilitate finding deeper spiritual meanings in life. How we spend and save money and consume fashion products is an integral part of our overall financial health. Additionally, fashion plays a role in helping us feel connected and interact with others. And fashion product production impacts the livelihood of the environment, climate, and surrounding communities. We explore these ideas in our exhibition titled Fashion, Existence, Myth, Narratives about Health, Bodies, and the Fashion System. Curators on the team include Zahra Falsafi, Amanda Ortiz, and Kelly Reddy-Best. Amanda and Zahra are graduate students in the Apparel Merchandising and Design program, and they also hold the Agatha Hoopenbecker Burnett Endowed Graduate Research and Teaching Assistantship. Kelly Reddy-Best is an associate professor in that same program and is also the director and curator of ICU's Textiles and Clothing Museum. Through 6 themes, physicality, introspection, metaphysics, economies, interactionism, and environmentalism, we highlight the complicated histories, current realities, and potential future impacts that fashion product production, consumption, distribution, and regulation have on the well-being of our bodies, communities, and surrounding natural environment. The objects featured in physicality demonstrate how wearing different garments and accessories help our bodies exist in a stable, comfortable environment free from disease or other health issues. For example, sweaters provide wearers protection against cold temperatures. The cream-colored knit sweater on display that's pictured here is made from wool, a protein fiber from sheep. The video here shows a person shearing sheep in the video. Wool is a poor conductor of heat, meaning the fibers reduce the warmth escaping from our bodies, making this fiber suitable for warm clothing. However, wool is heavy when wet, it loses its insulation properties when wet, and it dries really slowly. We have been using wool for warmth for a long time, as there is documented evidence indicating that people have used wool fibers to create clothing since around 1900 BC. For example, this standing female worshiper sculpture dates to 2900 BC and comes from ancient Mesopotamia. In the late 20th century, many fashion brands, including the outdoor company Patagonia, began looking for a wool alternative, something that could keep you warm, was lightweight, easy to wash, and dried quickly. In the early 1970s, Yvon Chouinard, who was the founder of Patagonia, partnered with Malden Mills in Massachusetts, which is now called Polartec. Malden Mills is pictured here. There is a factory worker who is working on a finishing machine inside the mill from 1996. Malden Mills worked to make one of the earliest wool alternatives, fleece fabric. The original fleece fabrics, like the one on display pictured here, were made from polyester fibers and had a short, fuzzy pile on both sides of the fabric. The new wool alternative could be cleaned at home in a washing machine, was lightweight, and kept the wearer warm. However, debates emerged about using fleece versus wool due to the negative impact polyester production has on the environment. Overall, innovations in the industry continue to provide consumers with comfortable and warm products that support the ways our physical bodies exist within cooler temperatures. In our next theme, introspection, we feature objects that demonstrate how clothing and accessories can influence our emotional and mental health in varied ways. For example, individuals who identify in the LGBTQIA+ communities wear different kinds of undergarments to help affirm their gender and/or sexual identities. Some queer women may prefer more masculine style undergarments, such as the pink underwear set by Tomboy X on display pictured here, and which is featured in the corresponding advertisement in the upper right-hand corner. Some trans and gender nonconforming individuals may wear binders, such as the black one on display by Underworks pictured here. Binders compress the chest for a flat appearance on the front of the body. The blue underwear by Playout features a pocket in the front crotch area that can hold a packer. A packer is the prosthetic penis worn by some transmasculine folks to create a crotch bulge and affirm their gender identity. Wearing undergarments such as the ones on display assists some individuals to feel confident, a positive sense of self, and more authentic. Metaphysics is the philosophical study of reality, raising questions such as why do we exist, or is there a God? This line of thinking often is related to our spiritual wellness or our search for deeper meanings in life beyond what is in our lived realities. Fashions can help facilitate these deeper spiritual meanings in life. That is, they can help individuals find or enhance connections to higher powers. These fashions might be part of the everyday lived experiences or part of specific spiritual or religious rituals. Some objects that individuals assign spiritual meaning to are worn around the body, are hung in their near environment, or used to kneel or rest on. In metaphysics, we explore how fashions help support the spiritual health of people from different cultures and communities. For example, the dress of Jewish people can differ widely, from liberal to highly conservative presentations. Even conservative Jews are less strict in their dress than Orthodox Jews, who highly value modesty. Some Jewish Orthodox women, such as the woman on the right, wear wigs or shaitel to ensure their modesty while allowing them to still fit into mainstream United States culture. On the left are pictured two Jewish Orthodox men who are in Brooklyn, and the man on the left is wearing a shtreimel and a talit, and the man on the right is wearing a gartel around his waist. Orthodox Jewish men wear skull caps, yarmulkes, or a kippah to cover their heads. They do so because the Talmud, or the body of Jewish civil and ceremonial law, argues that because a divine presence is over one's head, they should cover their head to show respect to that divine presence, Hashem, or God. Some individuals practicing in the Islamic faith use a prayer rug like the one on display while bowing, kneeling, and prostrating on the ground in humility before God. The rug is placed between the ground and themselves for cleanliness purposes to show respect to their God. Patterns on prayer rugs vary, but they all have a niche or a directional point at one end, which should be pointed toward Mecca, the holy city of Islam. Smartphone applications exist, such as iSalam Qibla Compass, that help individuals figure out which way points towards Mecca based upon their current location so that they place their prayer rug in the appropriate position. The map pictured here shows someone who is in Ames, Iowa, and they're near Grand Avenue, and it tells them which way they should point to face Mecca during prayer. How we spend and save money and consume products is an integral part of our overall financial health. Fashion consumption is intricately related to fashion production and distribution, including the labor involved in making fashions and the ways fashion commodities move from initial materials to retail stores for purchase. In Economies, we feature objects that highlight the complexities between fashion consumption, financial health, and the marketplace. Following the Industrial Revolution, conspicuous consumption dramatically increased. That is, people began consuming more goods, including fashion, to display their wealth or position in society. Overconsumption patterns continued, and in 2022, Americans collectively had over $900 billion in credit card debt and threw out over 11 million tons of textile waste, or an average of 80 pounds of clothes per person. Societal pressures to buy more or have the newest look, in addition to greedy capitalists, paved the way to making poor quality clothes at the fastest rate possible, which fueled this throwaway culture. As a result, fashion companies often search the supply chain for inexpensive labor across the globe, such as in Hong Kong, where the beaded purse on display was made. This race to the bottom for the cheapest price possible sometimes has resulted in large-scale tragedies, such as the collapse of the Rana Plaza garment factory in 2013 in Bangladesh, killing over 1,000 people. Fashion plays a role in helping us feel connected and interactive with others. Feeling a sense of connection is an important part of our overall health. That is, having good support and strong relationships can improve mood, reduce stress, and increase confidence. Individuals assign meanings to certain garments or accessories, which creates a shared sense of connection. While adapting fashions that have shared cultural meanings can help improve relationships or our sense of belonging, it can also ostracize people or draw imaginary borders to purposefully exclude others. In interactionism, we explore how different fashions interact with our social health or the ability to form relationships and interact with different people. Across the globe, many cultures and communities create and wear different clothing and accessories to represent their ethnic, racial, and/or national identities. Their clothing has many different names, such as folk, traditional, rural, peasant, or ethnic costume. Many of these folk costume styles in Eastern Europe emerged in the 16th century, and they often provided the makers and wearers a sense of connection to family, heritage, place, community building, and their national culture. Pictured on the slide are examples of Czech folk costume. On the left, those are from the 21st century, and on the right are Two examples of folk costume that come from the National Czech and Slavic Museum and Library in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. In Hungarian communities, embroidered vests, such as the one on display, are worn by men as part of their folk costume. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, many Hungarian people immigrated to the United States. Like other immigrant communities, Hungarian immigrants brought many aspects of their culture, such as folk costume, with them. The Meskwaki tribe historically was located in what is now called Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, and Iowa. However, the tribe lost their land through a series of concessions in the 19th century and were banished to what is now known as Kansas. Since that time, members of the Meskwaki tribe purchased much land back in Iowa so that they now have private land with a sovereign nation. Their current mission is to, quote, rely on the knowledge and experiences of the past, along with the will to survive to advance the people, culture, and well-being of the Meskwaki nation. One important aspect of their culture is dress, including regalia. The Meskwaki woman's regalia on display, as pictured here, displays the long tradition of ribbon work in their community. Ribbon work refers to the applied decoration of layered ribbon strips in contrasting colors. While the motifs, colors, or assembly of ribbon work has changed, the garments continue to reflect Meskwaki identity. Without the well-being of the earth, various aspects of our personal health are in danger. Fashion companies continue to use natural and manufactured resources, yet these production processes often have complicated histories entangled in many justice and labor issues that disproportionately impact people of color. In environmentalism, we explore the complexities of natural fibers, dyes, and materials used in fashion products and the related impacts on the livelihood of the environment, climate, and surrounding communities. Animal consumption has supported humans for millennia, and it still is a vital part of our existence. Indigenous communities around the globe have and continue to harvest and collect animals for functional uses such as clothing and food. However, unsustainable demands for animal products in fashion have led to habitat degradation, species extinction, and ecological exploitation. Designers have used birds like the headband on display pictured here for their visual appeal in clothing and accessories for centuries, particularly among American and European elites. The global demand for bird feathers produced by European and American industries increased in the 19th and early 20th centuries. During this time, the United States consumed over 5 million birds annually for fashion products specifically. This 1911 print pictured here reflects the craze of women desiring various birds for their accessories. Here you can see she's holding a gun and she's pointing it at the bird, and then on the lower right hand side you can see the two dogs that are have the label French milliner on them, and they're holding the birds in their mouth. Birds, like all animals, have ecological significance, meaning they play a role in supporting the cycle of ecosystems. As a response to species extinction, such as in 1918 when the U.S. native Carolina parakeet became extinct, many organized efforts to conserve birds and their natural habitat. The National Association of Audubon Societies is an example of the many organizations still active in their mission to protect birds, promote sustainable hunting practices, and conserve ecosystems. Some, like Florence Merriam Bailey, pictured on the right, who was a Smith College student in 1886, organized a local chapter of the Audubon Society, combined their activism work with work that pushed others to appreciate the beauty of birds and their natural habitat. Bailey's book, Birds Through an Opera Glass, which she published in 1899, helped non-experts spot, identify, and appreciate bird life. The bikini top and bottom on display are examples of innovative materials adapted for use in clothing that are forward-thinking, yet use of these materials in part contributes to negative impacts on the environment. For example, in the mid-1960s, designers introduced many garments made of non-woven materials, including paper, as evidenced in the 1968 bikini top on display pictured here on the left. These fashionable paper garments were unique, yet were not meant to last a long time. Similarly, the bikini bottom is made from Tyvek, a material DuPont patented in the mid-20th century. Tyvek was and still is used significantly in protective garments in the medical industry, for medical packaging, and also in home building, as an inner protective layer to prevent moisture damage. That picture on the right shows an example of a home that is wrapped in Tyvek materials. While Tyvek is breathable and resistant to water, abrasion, and aging, it cannot be washed easily. Thus, it reduces its longevity for personal use. Both the bikini top and bottom are examples of innovative materials in apparel production, yet they are also examples of fashions with a short lifespan and contributors to the 15 million tons of textiles that are wasted annually. In conclusion, through this exhibition, we demonstrated how fashions around the globe inform the condition of our individual and collective existence and reflects our lived realities and known myths. This exhibition would not be possible without much support. First, the Reinhardt Endowment provided financial support for the exhibition and undergraduate student labor. The Agatha Hubenbecker Burnett Endowed Graduate Research and Teaching Assistantship provided graduate student funding to complete this high-impact learning opportunity. Student employees at the ISU Textiles and Clothing Museum, including Honor Edmonds, Brindy Arredondo, Angie Gala, Jessica Zuniga, Michelle Zhang, and Paulina Hernandez provided curatorial and installation support. Last, Margaret Ordonez, who's a professor emeritus at the University of Rhode Island, provided editorial support for our text and context of the exhibition. Thank you.